Today we're going to talk about the French film La Ceremonie, directed by Claude Chabrol. All these films most of them that we're seeing now, I would say all of them, are auteur films, meaning we pay a great deal of attention to the director who's making them. He's usually the writer as well, or she, because we're going to see a great one made by a female director as well. This is Claude Chabrol. Claude Chabrol is known as a new wave, the French new wave film director. He was with Truffaut, that group that started in the 60s, 70s. They were previously film critics. He directed a lot of films, and then there was a little rest period. In 1995, La Ceremonie came out. It was huge, very well received. The point that I want to make with you is that Claude Chabrol is basically a socialist, as most of these directors were. And what the film is dealing with is the different classes in French society. I mean, it's pretty obvious, but in almost all his films, you will see the beautiful country house, of course, symbolizing French aristocracy or very upper middle class French. Into this, he always brings the lower working class, and in almost all his films, the two are at odds. This film is really extraordinary because it slowly builds. You don't know what you're getting when you're first starting out. The first character that we see is a young woman, and she's sort of odd. She dresses almost like a child. There's something a little bit off about her, but she's hired as a maid in this home by Jacqueline Bisset, who is fantastic, of course. But what we don't know about her, and we find out as the film goes along, is that she is illiterate. She can't read. And this is typical of Chabrol in his films. This is lower class impediment that this young woman will never overcome. And it has led to a very bizarre life, a bizarre person, a bizarre lifestyle. But we're the movie viewer, so we are watching, and we're getting clues here and there. And all of these films, you have to watch carefully, and I know you're sick of me saying it, but you really have to go back and see them a second time. These are serious films with all sorts of clues along the way as to what's happening, and God knows in this what you think might happen, although it comes as a total surprise. Anyway, we have two main characters. So one is Sandrine Bonnaire, whom I'm sure you remember from Vagabond. That was her first movie. I mean, she was just stunning in that. And she went on to make other movies, this being one of her great ones. So she's portraying this odd character that at first we're not sure what's going on with her, and then enters the other main character, Isabelle Huppert, the great French film actress. And we will see her again in a film, maybe the last film that we see, The Piano Teacher, with another director. But Isabelle, you saw her in Elle last year. She won the Academy. Didn't she win the Academy? I think she, who cares? She won every award for that film. Isabelle Huppert represents also the lower class, but she's working class, maybe a little, representing a different segment of French society. So the two, this is a perfect storm, as these things often are. I don't need my glasses. This is a perfect storm as the two come together and become friends, and we listen to their conversations, and they all are full of meaning, many of which we don't really get because a lot of it is French, but some of the songs they sing and the references they make, you start to understand that these two are full of rage in different ways. There's another aspect that he wants definitely to present to us the importance of reading, how isolated this young woman is, how strangely full of rage she is. She knows she can never advance beyond anything. And he wants to condemn television. Television, which possibly could have been a great, great medium, he's saying here, has, in the instance of this film, she's like a child watching it. And it's aimed at the lowest level for children even. So when you go back and watch it a second time, notice what she's watching. These sort of stupid, repetitive programs on television for children. I mean, he is chastising this. And then we have the figure of the daughter, the father's daughter by a previous marriage, who more or less uncovers her secret and more or less kind of has sympathy for her character. But we notice the character rejects all this. She's too far gone for this. So the film is building, and there's a whole lot of structure to it, and there's so much to see and take in, and then it takes a whole other turn. And this is his message. I mean, he is a socialist / communist. That this division of the riches of our societies cannot go on because it is building too much rage in this lower underclass. So, enough for the message. The cleverness of the writing, which he also wrote, I want to say, with his female writing partner. The cleverness of the writing as the film comes to an end, even though Sylvie, I think that's her name, Sylvie cannot read, and we don't really know her level of intelligence. We know Isabelle Huppert is sharp, quick, pretty Miss Smarty Pants. But in the end, we see that this Sylvie is slower, less glamorous and less vocal character, has basically figured it all out. And the ending comes as a huge surprise as to who is the deep, well, they both are killers, but Sylvie has planned everything very carefully. So the movie is not only, I mean, I suppose you can look at it just as a dark, black, almost comedy, but it takes such a descent as it goes along that you start gripping the arms of your chair because you sense something awful is coming. And then the final scenes, the massacre, leaves people speechless. And he's made his point. It is just an incredible film. So if you saw it once and you just rolled along with it and took it lightly, I'm urging you to go back and look at it again and realize how very, very clever this is. Why it's called a masterpiece. Why Claude Chabrol was considered, a master filmmaker. We don't see this too much anymore. And the French do this better than anybody does. He loved Hitchcock, of course. I personally think this is beyond Hitchcock. I am going to send you some written material on it now, and the New York Times review, but please watch it again if you watched it quickly the first time, because it's just beautiful. All the small things that he put, everything that he thought of. These two characters are incredible people. And it has a huge message. I don't want to say, we're living through, the 1%. The world is going in this direction. There's not that many who live in the big chateau. There's many more who work in the post office or can't read and write and do our dishes and our laundry. I won't say anything more than that. Anyway, the film is I just think it's a stunning film. And just ever to see Isabelle Huppert do anything is worth watching. Okay, so if you saw it, see it again. If you haven't seen it, get busy and watch it. Okay, thank you.